channel.
Oh, did he?
All right, welcome to the SPHB Roundtable, episode 1. We've got Jeff with me. Prizzle's making a return. Caps fan. I'm Stapler, and we have a mystery guest. So we'll be talking about the playoff games tomorrow, the Euro final today, Pokemon Go, and other such meme topics. I hope you guys enjoy the show. So first off,
why
we've
Pokemon Go?
It doesn't work on anyone's phone anyway. Anyways, our first game is Gunmen and Tsunamis. What's your guys' thoughts on this game?
Who wants to start here? Oh, fuck it, I'll go. So, I honestly think the Gunmen just have no chance. They got by playing an LAHC team that literally can't win off their own host, basically, without getting lucky. Hey, my team. Yeah, I'm sure talking my own team, yeah. And the Namis are a solid team. Very solid team. I honestly don't think it's even going to be close. It's probably going to be a blowout for the Namis most of the games.
Well, they haven't been as good this season. I mean, they barely know what their lineup's going to be. And Gunmen have actually played really well, so I think Prizzle
it's a Nate
can help
team,
them.
though.
But Nape isn't even playing, so that's probably the
He's still technically
Actually, just to spoil it, Nape's probably going to play.
Okay, they're really
Agilities
fucked
is in
then.
Bosnia.
What, Agilities is in Bosnia?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me just give my call out here. Hop from the Hong Kong Phoenix or whatever has told me to call out Agilities.
What?
Oh,
That's
no,
why
we're
I
not
referred
just
to
glossing
them as.
over that. That's not even remotely close.
The
That's
Dynamo
how-
Hong Kong
It makes
Ding
a lot
Dongs
more
make
sense
a
if
comeback.
they're all Asian anyways. Hop has said to call out Agilities for being the Rost player in SPHB. And then he logged off.
That guy's a bitch anyway, so.
Hop is low-key
he
one of my
is.
favorite people on the site, just because I love to watch him rage.
I don't know, I think he's fun.
I'm not sure he rages or he just like spams like memes the entire time. I can't tell.
Yeah,
Nah,
are we sure
you
he's
can see in the
serious, or-
game room, he kind of gets a little bit upset.
Well, he got nervous during our game, so I'd say he's
Oh, for
pretty
sure.
serious about it.
That
Well,
Mayberry
he's
win
also-
in the first round was a surprise for sure.
Yeah, and
I
we got
mean,
blown out.
they had the meme magic, but then they decided, and then they had to play Carl Pilkington and Mitten in a series.
Oh yeah, in the second series it was awful, but the first game was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Is there any explanation for Spart missing that series?
Yeah.
It was said that night on the stream. He was out with his girlfriend, apparently.
Yeah, he was out with his girlfriend, and earlier, like 2 weeks before playoffs started, he apparently, his friend took like his Razer keyboard, and he was like, I'm not playing anymore because I can't play on my regular keyboard. So, yeah, pretty autistic, but it is what it is.
No,
I mean,
said it
Prizzle's
before.
been playing on like a camping chair and like a cardboard box and some shit. Spart just has no heart.
Yeah,
Prizzle, can you
Spart's a
confirm
bitch,
this?
But it's okay.
Yeah, I was for the first 3 weeks. I was playing like on hotspot
shit.
Wi-Fi.
Honestly, I
That
should just go to
hard.
my fucking work to play on their Wi-Fi. It's probably better than what I have in my house. But on a serious note, I've said it before, Jeff. Spart outside of Hexball, I like Spart. When it comes to Hexball, I just can't stand him. He turns into a different person.
No, I mean we won our like what first 6 games of the season, and then our first 5 games.
First loss, and he
Let
instantly
me
became
look.
the cancer.
Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, we lost. We got blown out by the Huskies 7-2, and he left
That
the
was
game.
kind of the beginning of the end.
Yeah, he left the game early and like yelled at me and Rex for like an hour and a half, and we just kind of had to calm him down. But I mean, I kind of knew because I've known him since. I first teamed up with him in season 9, and I dealt with it the entire season. And I mean, he's gotten older, he's gotten better, but I was still expecting it, and it happened. But he got a lot better as the season went on. He just stopped showing up.
And then you signed Bob, which still made
I
no
didn't
sense.
sign. I was MIA for a month, and Rex
Yeah, you're in
signed
the
Bob.
fucking Middle East, man. That was the biggest issue with your guys' season. You would have been the top spot if not for that.
Yeah.
I
still
don't know about
put
top
up
spot.
decent stats for missing like half the season, over half the season actually.
I don't know
Right.
about top spot though, Staple, because even though they're really talented, it's just like any other time that a bunch of our group gets together. At some point, it just turns into a troll fest, even when you have the full lineups there.
Fair enough. All right, so let's talk about the other series. We've got Squares and Compton.
Wait, no, I'm not done yet.
Yeah, I
Hey,
didn't
Prizzle, I
even
think
get
we
to
can
talk about.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we want your biased opinion from your team?
Well, we weren't predicted to get out of the play-in tournament.
Who was?
I think a lot of teams hadn't seen us with the lineup with me at mid and Rich at D forward.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I don't think many people
who really
were
was
expecting that.
predicted to get out of that play-in tournament? I'm just looking at it now. LAHC should never have been predicted because we can't play off our own host.
Yeah, you were the highest ranking team, which is
Yeah,
weird.
because of our own host the past few weeks. And my shit talking from the bench. Best fifth man.
I thought y'all played fine, though.
That's the real role of the fifth man, to shit talk from the bench.
That was really unlucky for you guys to lose like that with the WSK and goal. It really hurts.
I mean, it was lucky for us to get tied in the game with Dash's goal.
Oh god. Yeah, I kind of own gold that. But
That
I think
own
we have a
goal was
shot.
awesome.
And I actually think TGFP is going to start for the Namis.
So that'll be interesting. Like maybe Jason will be in goal or 09.
No.
I think it's up in the air.
I think they'll bench Jason even though he's better than TGFP because TGFP kind of fits better.
Well,
I don't
I've
think they're
asked
gonna bench
him,
Jason.
and TGFP was sort of wary. He didn't really tell me either way, so I guess we'll see tomorrow.
I mean, with how much effort Nantes used in recruiting him to get him away from Bob's team originally, from what I've heard, I don't think they're gonna bench him.
Are these best of 3 first round?
Yeah, this is best of 3 in this first round.
I could see Gunman taking a game, but it'd be kind of hard for them to actually win the entire series. But you never know. It's Hacksball, so it's only 2 games, and you just got to get 2 lucky goals and then bust, and that's it.
I mean, I'd love to see them steal a game, at least like steal a game and possibly win the series, just because I like most of the guys on that team, and fuck it, memes, always fun.
Oh, well, one aspect of agility is going off to Bosnia or whatever. So Carlitos will be starting at forward again?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's the next factor for sure.
Oh, wait, does that mean Nape's in net?
Probably.
Oh, you
Yeah,
have no
but he
chance.
did
Never mind.
okay.
Sorry.
He did
Nope.
competent.
Don't
All
even
right.
say it, Stapler.
All right.
Nate did good against LHC though.
That's what I was going to say. But
Again, you have Nash. I love Nash. I love Nash to death. He's not a great forward anymore. He's just like me.
What?
He's not a great forward anymore. All his stats are a result of playing with a better forward next to him. He can't create for himself anymore. If you go back and look at any of the games where me and him are in together, there was literally zero creation, even when we had the ball.
You guys have any more to add, or can we move on to the next game?
No.
Move on.
I think
All right.
Nami's bus ball wins the game for him alone. It just flukes it out. That's all I gotta say about
this
it.
new lineup might not bust, but if they do,
they're gonna bust.
Probably.
It's playoffs, man, and it's the
They
Namis.
bust during the season.
Okay, so
back
mystery guest, what's your opinion on the Squares Compton game?
Oh, dude, Squares are gonna get their shit
Compton.
pushed in.
Really?
I'm serious.
I'm so scared of a team that has Scott Balla starting. So sorry, I also love Scott, but
He did really well this.
he's
season.
gotten a lot better since I first saw him. But
I mean, I
fact that-
specifically looked at his D forward the last couple of weeks. It's insane. They won every game like 1-0, 1-0, 2-1, 2-0. I don't know how they're doing. All their goals are like tap-ins too.
The
Like
Squares
is
are
Czech
gonna
playing
have
for him?
Squares are gonna have a problem because first of all, their offense, even with T90, is still struggling, and he's now a question mark. So unless if like Under has some god beast performance, they're entirely screwed, and the CCK bus will at least get to the semis.
I can see Compton and Squares both getting a game and it going into like an extended OT in the third game. I think this will probably be the longest game of the longest series of this first round.
I tend to roll with the team that's been together longer, and so I'd go with the Squares. But you never know. Best of 3, it's kind of like I said before. It's kind of a toss-up. If the underdog takes game 1, it gets really sweaty.
Yeah.
Have we heard anything about T90 coming?
It's still kind of up in the air. He hasn't shown up the last couple of weeks, and I think this is most similar to season 19 when T90 basically didn't show up the last couple of weeks, but then showed up for the final. And then they won, so this could be a similar kind of thing. I think he'll probably show up if they end up with the Namis in the next round, but maybe not this game.
I think Squares actually still take it even if he doesn't show. As long as Jizz doesn't completely fuck up. Like, Compton's players are like full like nervous players. Like, Miles is going to be so nervous in that game. He's going to be sweating. OG Lock as well.
This series will be hilarious to watch if you want to see memes. Like,
Prizzle,
it's either going to be fluke. Oh, Michael.
Prizzle, they've taken games against better teams already, so I don't think the nerves will be there. They've played in the playoffs before.
Oh, it's for sure going to be in there. But plus the thing is, like, the style they were playing is how teams play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like how they're playing in the regular season. Like they're very similar to LAHC.
Lots of teams like have to change it up completely for the playoffs. Like Islanders probably won't. Tsunamis will probably a little bit. But yeah, Compton's already playing that way. Caps, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say this series will definitely be fun to watch if you like the memes, just because both teams are probably gonna be busting it pretty hard, and it's unless Cell pulls something out in like a quick counter where he just hits him with one of his bounce shots, you might see like 30-minute overtimes in multiple games.
I was thinking some of the other series would be better for memes. Like we'll get to it later, but the Dynasty Huskies, that's guaranteed to be memes.
Oh my god.
But the other part I was gonna make is when you talked about like Compton and them not being nervous or anything, I don't know, because I've played with Miles and he overreacts to a lot of stuff. Like back when I was a GM, he literally demanded a trade after I jokingly called him overrated or like a rage fit at me. He takes this shit seriously, so he might actually have some nerves tomorrow.
Yeah, it has to be said. This is probably the biggest series of Miles' career. Maybe Scott Balla, he's already been in the D1 playoffs before. Stotch, probably the biggest of his career. And Yigi, he's kind of improved a lot. I mean, last couple seasons have been shit, but yeah, he's good now.
I've played in the playoffs with Yigi before. He has a composure about him, but you don't hear it if you're with him on TeamSpeak. He sounds like he's panicking, but he does have a composure about him.
No,
it's unreal. He hasn't gambling. Like his GAA, no way I would expect that from Yigi. I mean, when I first played with him in season 18, he was like a totally different player, like kind of like this, like staying back, like awesome.
Oh, this is definitely like a throwback to like old school Yigi back when he was at his best.
I think the CCK team has like been having to play that way, like you said, differently in the playoffs. Like they've been having to push for that playoff just to get the spot recently, so that's why they've been like try-harding their asses off. And other teams, they've taken big games, you know.
Yeah,
so I think that's a big reason why they're there.
You guys think Yigi deserves GK of the year over Jason? Who's your guys' pick?
I voted for Jason just because he's my bro, but I can see either one winning it.
In any.
Because Yigi has a lot more minutes. Jason has the better GAA, and in a good amount of minutes too. Yigi has still a superb GAA in a lot more minutes, so I can see either one taking it.
They're both top-tier goalkeepers, but I mean, I think Jason simply just because, I mean, the Namis have bust for half the season, and been there for half the season. It's been like half the minutes, and he still hasn't had like a real test because he only have to do so much with the bus.
But you also have to take into account he's literally never. Yigi's been a career GK. Jason had never played GK before this season, as far as I know.
He plays a lot of pubs, and he's really good. Like they're both top-tier goalkeepers, as I said.
I will say Jason's an elite space bounce GK. Shout out to Jason for that.
The thing? Space bounce GK?
Yeah. Ask you. We should get you in here. He's on TeamSpeak. Anyways. Any more comments on this game?
Has had a really good season, actually.
Yeah, this season's been kind of up and down for lots of defenses.
There's been so many like just revolving teams, I guess, kind of just with their lineups and whatnot. So it's been kind of weird.
Yeah, and I think GKs more than other positions do well with a set team where they know what their defensive setup is, that kind of thing. All right, let's move on to Omega. So the first game we've got here is on paper Illuminati Islanders. However, before that, I'm getting word that the Wolves and Illuminati might play each other today. So who knows what the result of that is, but let's just assume that Illuminati win that game and move on to the Islanders. What's your guys' thoughts?
Well, before we start, can I make a side thought?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a fucking retard apparently, because I had Real in my minors last season.
He's been underrated for a while.
Like I was playing with him every day and I didn't even notice this. Like he was this good. Really? I guess it was just because it was literally just like, we didn't have any any good players besides him, because even I was playing in 400 ping almost every game. So I wasn't even half decent at that point. But I didn't even see like half this talent last season. I guess I don't know if it's just because of the surroundings or just because I'm a retard.
Well, really, I think Real should be in the running for Rookie of the Year, not Most Improved, because he's been pretty much the same player for the whole of his SPHB existence. Just nobody's really known about it. But he's done like the same numbers, like over 2 PPG, which is pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, playing with him at the beginning of the season was so much fun, though.
Yeah, I bet. I was almost on his team for the Wolves, and then I got the offer from Dynasty, and Red said I'd be playing CP, so that's history. Do you guys think the Wolves would be able to beat Illuminati?
No.
It depends on who plays for both teams, because attendance has been interesting for both teams all season.
I guess we won't really know. It might not even happen. So, anyways, assuming Illuminati go through, Is that a sweep? 2 games? 8-0,
Probably.
8-0?
Nah, not 8-0.
I don't know. It depends on, like I said, it completely depends on who shows up for the Illuminati. If they have their like
Assume
top
a
tier
full
elite lineup playing well, they
Assume it's Bima, Shamino, Swish, and Star.
No.
actually no. I'm sorry. There's not enough There's not enough defensive players there, even with the bus. Most of those guys are just full on offensive minded.
Even if all those players play at their top form, the Isles are still going to take that one.
Yeah, there's not enough defensive minded players in that to stop.
To
the
me, I
Isles.
think Star is in his prime. He was one of the best defensive players I've ever played with. Like better than Nantes. I don't know
He's
about
a
now.
really good
What do you
mid. I'll
mean?
give him that.
I never
not
actually
in his
played with him as
prime
mid.
anymore.
Back in his prime, he was a really good forward. He wasn't a mid. He wasn't a defensive player
Well,
at
I
all
know
back
he
then.
helped win the cup for the Squares before.
And flipped Dynasty.
Oh god, him and Digby together was.
No, the
Side note, I've
Islanders
actually
should
never
sweep.
given up
If
a
the
goal to a
Islanders don't
Digby
fuck
team.
around, they'll sweep.
I think they
Uh,
sweep and stat pad. They're gonna lose
Yeah.
each game by 4 or 5 goals, even if they play at their best.
Well, someone's gonna have to tell the Islanders that the stats in the playoffs don't count towards your career stats.
Yeah, but it certainly demoralizes your opponents.
Do you guys think Lindros deserves MVP this season?
Oh no,
No.
you can't.
Honestly,
Probably Nantes.
I don't think either of them deserve it. Nance or Lindros.
If you're using Red's argument, I have an issue with the argument he tried to make because you're saying they're on a stacked team. Is that so? That'd be like saying so Steph Curry shouldn't have won it because technically that Warriors were basically a stacked team last year too. If you play well and you mean a lot to your team, it doesn't matter how stacked your team is. And both those guys meant a lot to their team, but Lindros wasn't more important to me that team than Nika or Pixels because they were gonna win no matter
Really?
what. I mean, yes, his mid is really incredible. It makes a big difference. But Nick, if he was missing, Nick probably could have easily just dropped back and played mid for a game or two.
I think
And they
Nick
would-
kind of struggled before at mid, but who would you guys say is MVP if not them?
Nantes.
No, I mean, I think the mystery guest was saying maybe not Nantes or Lindros.
ASAP Chinny. No.
Honestly, I think you probably could have made a big case for Real just the fact that they were even near the playoff race with how consistent he performed for the Wolverines
but a
this
team
season.
that didn't end up in the playoffs, it was like bottom 2. They finished second last place. You can't give MVP to a player like that. You just can't.
I said if they had managed to sneak in, which they should have been able to, if they weren't in that conference, I think you really could have made a case for him.
I mean, there were also discussions on the committee with players like there was Chinny, there was
Benny.
Well, I mean, not serious consideration, but Diablo as well. Obviously more than Chinny.
I think I would have gave it to Diablo maybe.
Squares players like Hash Browns, under T90 were all mentioned. But yeah, we all voted, and that's who ended up at the top 2.
I mean, it's not a bad top 2 at all.
Thing with the Isles,
the top players in each conference. Top teams.
You look at the assist leaderboard, the top 4 are all Isles players. You could sub one player out and they'll still do good.
That's the reason I like players like Real stand out to me when you're talking about that, because like players like Lindros, you sub them out, they're still gonna be able to play a good team. If you take a player like Real away from the Wolverines, they're not even gonna come close to winning the game probably. Like that's what defines most important to me.
I don't even think Real was their best player though. He kind of gets goals in kind of a lucky way a lot of the time.
No.
Yeah, I had this discussion with TGFP. I'm not sure who was more valuable to the Wolves this season. I mean, Real got great stats, and then Chad was also playing good. So yeah, I don't know.
Real did a lot of incredible things when I was there, like the week I was there with him though. Like he made some goals for himself by himself. It wasn't just fluke goals.
But Chad was doing the defense, so I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Oh yeah, there's a side to every argument, and I see yours, but I might be a bit biased because I enjoy playing with him. But
Real is just good just because he's like poaching for goals. Like he's waiting for those moments instead of like getting his team to do that. He's just having to like pick that up by himself, and that's the only reason he's gotten so much attention this season.
Yeah, I mean, even in D2, he wasn't really reliant on his teammates, so that's why he's transitioned to D1 pretty easily.
It also works on a like lower team where the Wolves were struggling before, and then he comes onto the team and he's just poaching for those random goals that could win you the game.
Yeah.
Honestly, off thought here, you could make a case that Nantes wasn't even the most important on his own team.
Well, who else was consistent on the team? I mean, Wayne and TGFP weren't showing up very much. Jason was a fifth man. You can't give him MVP. Come on, man.
I'm not saying. The thing about Jason though is that his value can't be understated just because, like, I'm not saying he would deserve it more, but his value can't be understated just because look what he did on both sides of the ball. 0.45 GAA for an entire season.
This is probably the most biased statement I've ever heard. You can't give MVP to a fifth man. I mean, I love Jason.
I'm not saying you give it to him.
He's a great player. You just can't.
But I'm saying you can't understate his value either. Like,
well, you said he wasn't the most valuable player on his team. Who else is more valuable than him?
You
can't say Jason's
more valuable. I guess you're. I guess.
The reasons Stapler just listed are the exact reasons why I took Nan over Lind and gave Lind mid of the year instead.
Oh, so that's another discussion. So you had Lindros as mid of the year over El Jefe. That's another one.
Wait, can you explain?
I abstained from that one.
Why was Jefe number 2?
It's the same as all the other ones. So basically, how the committee worked. I'm trying
to explain, like, why was he number 2?
Like, who were the people he beat out? Like, who was number 3 and 4 if you're able to disclose that?
Think about all the mids this season. There's T90. There's.
Well, yeah, I would like to know the list actually.
Well, just think about the top mids. There's Miles.
No, but I would like to know like the results.
Are you not allowed to disclose that?
No, we're not disclosing that. We're disclosing the final votes though. So
no, that should be
disclosed. What the fuck?
Well, wait. When you say the final votes, are we going to see who just missed out on the finals?
Well, we'll say if the full votes are leaked, it was not me.
All right then.
I'm an official capacity right here. I did not leak anything.
Was Rex top 5?
Yeah, Rex was on the top 5.
Shout out to Pemby.
I don't get how
Pony Rape 1, 2, 3
was number 2.
Dynasty beat out Huskies, so certainly Hefe deserved it more than Chinny at the very least.
I think Hefe deserved like at least a good nomination for it, just because the Dynasty, like their lineup was changing like every game, and he was still just a solid rock for them, playing with like players that were like T3 all the entire season. He was still at least putting up good numbers or performing so that they would at least win some.
Yeah.
It might be toxic, but I mean he's also like determined to get better and make his team better, so I'll give him that.
I thought Rich and Rex outperformed him.
I don't think you can understand how important Rex was and how well he played this season, considering he was dealing with, you don't know if they're going to even have enough players to show up every night, and he came and consistently performed for them.
Yeah.
I think they all had good seasons. Like a lot of the midfielders, they had like quietly good seasons, so it could have been anybody in that toss-up for like the second place.
It was definitely kind of a resurgence of the mid this season, because in past seasons we've only had like 1 or 2 really good ones and then a bunch of average ones. And this season we've had a bunch of actually like above average ones.
There were a lot of mids that warranted a mid of the year discussion for sure.
All right, so Stapler, going back a second, so with your claim about how Jason's a 5th man, was he even in the 5th man discussion?
Jason's not a 5th man.
Exactly.
Well, there's
I'm not saying.
And then there's like being a 5th man so often you become a starter. So it's like a 5th starter, if that makes sense. That's why I think he wasn't in the discussion. It's weird with 5th man. I think next year we need a whole different awards system where there's clear like rules for each award, and we didn't want to switch it up this season too much. Next season there will be different awards, like possibly like the top points automatically getting the golden boot. There will be guidelines for all the awards. This season we just did the same that they've been before, but yeah, that's one exact thing that's been discussed in the past. How many minutes is too much for 5th man? So for me, Jason, it's weird because 09's like the starter recently, but Jason has more GK minutes.
Well, the way I gotta look at it for 5th man is if your whole roster shows up, if you're not one of the 4 people that's going to start when your whole roster's there, you are not a starter. Even if that means you play more minutes than some of them, still the 5th man. That's the way I look at that.
I like that criteria. And by that, I think Jason definitely would be in the 5th man discussion. A shame he wasn't.
And a side note before we move on, you said I was looking up like the golden boot thing.
Yeah.
Would that just be like replacing offensive player?
For me, I think I'd want to have a forward of the year, and then separate from that, a golden boot.
Because the golden boot thing, you got to look at stat. Cause like, I don't like the idea because of the stat pads.
Well, I mean,
that's why I like offensive player of the year, because you can kind of take stat pads out of the discussion and just look at in close games who actually perform still.
In my scenario, you'd have forward of the year being kind of like defense also getting a lot of discussion. So players like Nantes, Diablo, and Pixels actually play D forward a lot. Blade, those kind of players would be elevated in the discussion rather than just who had the most points, because that award was already given out.
Didn't we used to have like a defensive player of the year award?
Yeah, that was changed into mid of the year. So that's kind of weird to me how there's an offensive player of the year, but no defensive player of the year. I don't know.
Maybe we should bring that back. So there's like a defensive, like for forwards that are usually like hanging back and they're like supporting their team instead of sure they're still getting goals and points, but it's not like stat pad.
Wasn't it always just mids were winning defensive player of the year? So
Yeah,
they
that's why they
made it
changed
mid of the year. Yeah, so
Because you really offensive players, we're talking about just purely defensive player of the year. Offensive or D forwards really shouldn't be in the conversation because it's easy to bust. The mid's so much more important to the defense.
All right, let's do the last award.
Hold up, I got
one
more thing to add. I went through the Dynasty schedule and I looked at their wins. They had 0 impressive wins. So I don't know like what wins El Jefe was bringing. Basically, he played in like a super weak conference.
This is why Prizzle's on the show.
Dynasty were not that impressive of a team this season. It's not that like I didn't think anyone actually thought they were that impressive.
And yet, second most points in the league.
El Jefe only had 17 points. Rex had like 28. Rich had like 28.
And I'm assuming both of those two probably played a lot less minutes than him too, right?
Well, and they play in a more competitive conference.
God, our conference sucked.
You're in the same conference.
I know. I'm saying it sucked to play in.
Oh.
8th place on 37 points. What the fuck? Or what is this? Is that 8?
Yeah, it is.
That's ridiculous.
Would you guys like to see a return to no conferences? I think I would.
I don't
know. I think conferences work out for the best. You're never gonna be able to completely fix the weak conference versus strong conference if you do a conference system. Because look, even the NBA, the East is a fucking joke.
Yeah. It literally is the NBA though, because the Isles are the Cavs, just rolling through people.
How are you meant to make even conferences when it's pick your own teams?
Well, so here are the two scenarios people are
unless you make
about.
them after the teams are picked.
Well, not even that would always work, just because there's always like 2 or 3 players each season that either way underperform or outperform their expectations.
Yeah.
So here are the two scenarios that we're considering for next season, I think. Ignoring my really autistic proposal, roughly it'll be back to affiliation, but with pick your teams still. Or we continue with what we had this season with a D-League. And however else you want to put stuff onto that, I don't know, that's up for discussion. But those are the two main scenarios.
So how many players will we be picking for our minor affiliate?
I don't know. Those details are up in the air. Feel free to make threads, people, if you have an opinion on this. The season's coming to a close, so the discussion's around the corner.
Go back from relegation. Let's do it.
Just caught an oddish on Pokemon Go, by the way.
All right, so let's discuss Pokemon Go.
No.
So what were you about to talk about earlier?
No, can we finish the Hacks Ball discussion before we get to Pokemon
Go?
later.
I don't even think we've gotten to the Dynasty Husky series, and we just started going on awards.
On a serious note, does anyone actually think that Chinny won't show up?
Nah, I don't know.
I'm sure he'll show up.
He'll show up.
Fake retirement. It's gotta be.
You just gotta wrap his finger.
That's exactly what I was assuming.
Will Kiss show up?
No.
Absolutely
not.
So then we've got a potential
they're not.
Fruit, X-Gen.
I don't think they're really gonna win that series.
On paper,
it'll be Chinny, Fruit, X-Gen, and Rygor.
Yeah, Rygor. I don't know, man.
Versus what? Blade, Hefe, Alexa, and Red?
Yeah, we beat them 4-0 with that exact lineup against each other.
I think it'll go 3, but Dynasty will probably win.
I think the X factor in that series will be how Fruit plays, because I've seen him have really good, like his good nights where he's one of the best in the league, and I've seen him have nights where he just looks like he's an average player at best.
Yeah, I mean, he carried along with Lindros, I think, when it was Nash Pavelski, and they got to the finals. We're within 1 goal of winning. Fruit had a lot to do with that, I think.
Yeah,
I
like
think
I said, he has his great nights and he has his nights where he's just
Dynasty takes it 2-0.
It's possible.
I'll say if my prediction, if Fruit plays well, I think the Huskies sweep it. If not, I think it goes to Game 3 in a long overtime.
You're considering a Huskies sweep if Fruit plays well. Wow, giving him a lot of credit.
It's mostly because I just looked at Dynasty's roster again, and I'm not convinced of them being a solid team.
Goalkeepers have to have like perfect games, especially in playoffs where people are busting, in order to have any sort of like real impact on big games like that. So I mean, even if Cucumber plays well or Fruit, whatever you want to call them, I still think it's a challenge, and I think Dynasty takes it.
Dynasty did sweep them in the regular season too.
Yeah.
So
Well, the thing you also got to look. I mean, I don't know if you can take the regular season into account with the Huskies because they were just all over the place all season. But the point I was gonna make is the thing with Fruit is yes, there's buses, but he's also when he's on his game, he's one of the best at starting transitions on like balls that are dumped in.
One thing I think is interesting is there's a lot of players on both teams who this is their first D1 playoff series. We've got Rygor, we've got Alexa. I don't think she's been in the D1 playoffs before. Hefe hasn't been in the playoffs for a while. Oh no, he was on your team, Jeff. Can you talk about Hefe for a sec?
When you're winning, everything's cool when you're winning. But as soon as you start to lose, he just starts yelling at people. I mean, last season, some people were saying that that I was the best player on the team, but that really wasn't the case. Hefe pretty much was a rock defensively and offensively, and I think he's a really good player, but he gets a bad rap. And what's the word I'm looking for? He gets a bad
reputation.
It's because of his attitude at times.
But it's deserved. But I mean, he's still a really solid player, especially today's league. I mean, he's one of the few people who still consistently play on a daily basis, so he can keep his game up. But yeah, if you guys start losing, it could turn into just a scream fest. But
well, that already happened kind of, and we got over it. Remember earlier this season when Red had some drama off the field and Hefe was asking for AGM? He's got AGM again, so we got past that little scenario.
Yeah, I think whoever gets the first goal in this series is actually going to take it.
Oh, that's a
really.
I can see that happening too, because this series could be a lot of momentum and just
if Huskies score first, that
and what team just spirals out of control first.
Yeah, either of these teams can spiral out of control. Like you have Alexa, Blade, Hefe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the series for memes.
There has been a return of that like 1-0 scoreline this season for like a lot of games.
It's been kind of low scoring as seasons go. Am I wrong?
Let me before we say anything else, let me ask: do you guys think that's because the league's getting like closer skill-wise and more competitive, or just because the league's dying more?
Combination of the two. Probably
depends on the people. Yeah,
as a result of the league slowly thinning itself out, the playing field evens itself out as well. So
right,
besides
most of the
people like
leaving
Nika
are
and Pixels,
elite players.
Yeah.
Oh, let's give a little shout out to Pixels. I mean, he was the top player in D2 last season, but he followed that up with breaking a goals record. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, but the entire league knew he shouldn't have been in D2 last season.
Yeah, that's true.
Pixels has been good, and he's playing with some of the best players in the world at setting you up. Or sorry, not the world.
I will give him credit
though.
There's being good, and then there's breaking records, and he scored the most goals of all time in one season.
When you're playing with players that can pass like Lindros and Nika, it's as long as you can position yourself well, you're going to get goals, and he's very good at positioning himself. He's almost always going to be in the right spot. I'm not saying he's bad, but I'm saying he's very good. But
all right, so those are the playoff games for tomorrow. Let's have a hot take here. Who do you guys think is going to win it all?
The Islanders.
As long as there's no DDoSing or attendance, the Islanders.
Gunmen.
Not even close.
Gunmen.
You never know.
Go Iceland.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it would be like if they got me.
Yeah, it would. Imagine if Gunmen won. Just end league.
Yeah.
The problem with Alpha is so much that the talent is so spread out in Alpha that no one team is good enough to take down the super team that the Islanders are.
No, I would say this though. It was either last season or the season before that the Bears went undefeated and lost to the Nats. Was that last season?
It was season 21, I think, right?
Yeah, it was 21.
And
But
then
that
Tsunami's got him in the second round.
But that Nami's team
Yeah.
was also very good and very, very good at bussing.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think anyone was expecting the Bears to lose that series, and they still did.
No.
Having
So
played with a
something
lot
like
of guys
that
that
could
were on
happen.
that Bears team, though, I kind of expected if they had struggled at all, it could be the end of them. And they, sure enough, when they started struggling,
I would
I
actually
think
love
though-
to see the Namis with Nick Bro against this Isles team.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
Oh,
I
if
think
you
the
had
That'd make
Namis
it
are the
really
one team that has
interesting.
a chance to take down the Isles. They're like, if they just bust it out and get some fluke goals, they could actually like do it. But I still give them only like a 25% chance at best.
You know what? I'm going to go with the Squares. I think the Squares have the biggest chance because this is really like season 19. They were like a pretty good team, not the best team in the regular season. And then all of a sudden in the playoffs, they were just unstoppable. So they don't have Hannah, but they are a good team, and they've won the cup before.
Did Hannah win the cup with the Squares in season 19? Because I
Yeah.
genuinely forget.
Hannah was on there for
Was
like
that
the
the
very
season
end
that-
of the season.
wait, was that the season that they beat the Huskies?
I believe so.
Oh, fuck off! I
The
hate that
finals was
season.
versus the Huskies, yeah.
Yeah, fuck that season, and fuck Diablo for being a little bitch. You heard me, Diablo.
That was a pain in the ass, dude. That finals took like 6 weeks or
Yeah, it
something.
did.
I wish you could have seen what happened behind the scenes in the fucking pre-games. Diablo just sat there, kiss fucking insulting him because he wanted kiss to play.
The
God, it was
Virgin
so awful.
Mirror.
I think if any team has a shot, they're gonna have to play like really ugly, slow down Hackspaw, like season 8 basically style.
Ooh. I've seen some replays of that. It's disgusting.
Yeah, we've
Well,
come
that's
a
the
long
only
way.
way to work. Because the Isles are probably one of the best teams we've seen in the middle of the field.
All right, so we've done that. Let's go over this season as a whole. Would you guys say it's a success or no?
It's all right.
For being a completely new system, I'd say it had to consider it at least partially a success because we didn't die, and there's been at least active discussion on what we can do to improve now.
There, over the season, as it's went on, Wayne's listened more and more, and I think that's shown with the poll he did. People want him to stay as commissioner, and that's like a first. Like people genuinely content with how he's done with a commissioner.
And that's
People like
not an easy
Scooter.
job. That's really not
Yeah.
easy. I can tell you, it literally nearly drove me to stop gaming in general. It really just wears on you.
What were you gonna say, Prizzle?
I think people enjoyed Scooter as commish.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there was a lot of calls for him to resign. I'm sure you all remember that.
Yeah, by a bunch of fucking idiots. But
I think Wayne
And
has slowed
there's-
us down a little bit on some promises.
There's calls
Oh,
every season for the
no
commissioner to
one's
resign,
perfect.
but I mean,
No one's perfect. And it was kind of like he promised. He kind of did like a presidential race thing. He promised a lot of things that even he knew he couldn't deliver on.
I mean, if he was to resign, who would take over?
Yeah, that's another thing. There's no clear candidate to replace him. So I'm glad he's staying on. All right, can we move on to meme hour now?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Pokemon Go.
thought it was already me.
Dude. Okay, I went to the town center today for an hour. There was like 30 people just huddled around this one Pokestop. It was amazing. This game is fun as shit.
Were any of you guys actually talking to each other?
Yeah,
All right.
we're just all having fun.
What's the best Pokemon you've captured so far?
Let me look. Probably.
I tried to install it and it didn't work for me because there's no connection near me, my house.
I haven't been able to like walk around a lot recently, besides today. So my level isn't very high, and when you get a higher level, you can catch better Pokemon. But probably a Growlithe or like, well, I have a Pidgeot, but that's because I evolved it. But straight up best catch, probably a Growlithe, which is pretty shitty, but it's still a lot. I have like 66 Pokemon. It's just a
Have
lot
you
of fun to
tried
walk
doing
around.
it while driving it?
Yeah, it's
It
Oh,
broke
come
my
on.
not
game.
safe.
No, I left it on while I was at work to try to get the glitch where I was going on my way to work yesterday to try to get that glitch for the starters respawn so you can get Pikachu as your starter.
Yeah.
When I got out of the car and was just standing there, it acted like I was sitting there spinning in circles. It really fucked
Yeah,
with
it's
the
kind of
game.
buggy.
And I don't know if this is just because I have an older phone, but but it can still run it. But like, it'll just see sometimes in the middle of the game, like when I fucking tried to catch a Charmander, I threw the ball at it. The ball hit him, and I was about to catch it, and the app just crashed.
Rip.
I was quite upset.
My phone hasn't. The only problem I've had is just the servers. I guess I just have like a good enough phone.
Yeah,
where
it's
I can
not
run
even
it
in
properly.
Canada yet or Britain. It's really in very early stages. I'm
they
sure it'll get
delayed
better.
it for weeks now for the rest of the releases
because of their
the servers. Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And what do you guys think about the Euro final today? Portugal winning?
I think it was. I mean, I'm not disappointed that Portugal won. I think it's just funny that Ronaldo. Yeah, but I think the tournament as a whole it had a lot of good moments. Wales, Iceland.
Lots of memes.
Yeah, but I don't think it was the best Euro tournament.
I think it was
we've
the
ever
lowest
seen.
scoring Euro in like 50 years or some shit.
Yeah, I think it would have been, like just the way that the knockout round was set up, how all the good teams were on one side, with the exception of Iceland, and then on the other side, besides
Portugal
Belgium, there weren't any like
final.
powerhouse teams. Yeah,
that was
Portugal got
hilarious.
to the final with like one win in regulation.
Yeah, exactly.
They struggled their way there like the entire time.
Yeah,
they didn't win a single game in qualifying. So
you still gotta feel good for them though. Like with how hard you saw Ronaldo working, how much it meant to him to see them actually pull it out for him.
Yeah, I was hating on Portugal until I saw Ronaldo cry. I won't lie.
I've been
saying
it for like the past couple of years that if I was building a team right now and I could take Messi or Ronaldo in their prime, I'm still taking Ronaldo just because of stuff like that, how much the game truly means to him, and he's actually a leader.
I mean, Messi cried too when he lost.
Yeah, but you saw he wasn't actually. You saw on the Copa, he wasn't not a true leader.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Ronaldo
he just goes
is
home,
a
plays
leader.
his PlayStation.
Crying because you win and crying because you lose are two different things.
True. But he still puts a lot of emotion into his game.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he doesn't put emotion.
I'd still take Messi.
Yeah, what the fuck? I would take Messi too.
Okay, but let's put it this way. Are you saying that the players around him are average? It's not a stat team you're putting him on.
It's also football. It's an 11-man game, and I mean, like this season for the Euros, it was a lot more based on tactics than like individual performances.
True.
And that's why Portugal won. I mean, they
and that's
didn't
why
really have
Wales
any stars
got
out
to the
there.
semis.
Exactly.
And Iceland,
I think they would have gone farther.
They did amazing with that.
I just found it funny how inconsistent France was.
Gunnarsson is the star for Iceland with that long throw.
Oh my god.
That long throw was legendary.
Talk about me.
I really miss long throws.
No, the tournament as a whole was fun to watch, but it wasn't the best I've ever watched.
And that kind of sums up this season for Hacksball, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
Had its fair share. Wait, before we move on to anything else, how long do you think the Viking chant will last? Viking clap.
Forever, dude.
Dude, forever.
And the Will Grigg song is gonna last forever too.
I'm so fucking tired of Seven Nation Army. Da 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 da. Every fucking time.
I was so prepared for a Wales-Iceland final.
I know.
Dude. That might have made it the greatest.
Would've.
If that had happened, this would have officially been the greatest tournament of all time.
All right, let's wrap this up with some shoutouts. You guys got someone?
I gotta shout out TJ Pemby and Benny Boy. Those are my shoutouts.
All right.
They know who they are.
Yeah, shout out to Jeremy Lin.
Shout out to you. Me and you were playing Australian Space Bounce and Hacksball earlier today at like 7 a.m. or some shit. It was awesome. We were just destroying them.
Shout out to Dixon Ticonderoga.
Oh, dude.
Really?
Legend.
Shout out to Cookie Jr.
Shout out to iPlay.
Didn't he re-sign up this season? What happened to him? I thought he was coming back.
He signs up every season.
Re-signs up, yeah. He never
I
plays,
didn't even notice that
does
before. I literally only saw him this season. That's weird because I wasn't even a GM this season.
I mean, it's not every season, just most seasons.
He accepted my offer too, but like my roster was full at the time.
Fuck. Shoutouts.
Shout out to Golf with Friends crew.
There you go. Golf with Friends crew.
All right, final shout out. Shout out to Priest. Please put this on YouTube so everyone can listen to it. Hey,
Yeah, I need some
Please
animations.
put this on YouTube.
Animations would be a plus, but we'll see. All right, until next time, folks.
Shout out to Lupatoni.
Oh yeah, shout out to him coming back.